All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD1000 Web Development Technologies class, I've been creating several videos that are based on one of the textbooks that we're using for the class, and those are the PowerPoint presentations from Murox JavaScript and jQuery 4th edition. I've done the entire first section. Now I've finished the entire third section, so I'm going back to the second section. I did Chapter 8, now I'm jumping into Chapter 9. Again, for 9, 10, and 11, I don't plan on spending much time on here. Chapter 9 is on how to use effects and animations, how to use effects, a slideshow with effects, how to use animation, and a carousel application with animation. All right, so let's get to it. Again, how to use effects and animation. So here are our applied objectives and at least the beginning of our knowledge objectives. And I guess that's all of our objectives, period. Now, they mention here that here are the basic methods for jQuery effects. Now think about some of these just from the words. Show and hide. All right, you can make things appear or disappear on the screen. And rather than even doing a show and hide, you can do a toggle to have it go back and forth. Slide down and slide up, which are kind of reminiscent of like a shade, you know, like you'd have in your bedroom or whatever. And there's a slide toggle. Fade in, fade out, and fade toggle. All right, so let's take a quick look. All right, so it says, here's the basic syntax then. It says for all of the methods except for the fade to, method name, and then the duration, and then the callback. Now, what this means is the method name is what you want to call. All right, the duration is for how long, and the callback is what you want to do basically when it's over. Now, it's a little different here. The fade to also has an opacity in it because as you're fading in or out type of an idea. Okay? All right. So let's take a look. It says HTML for a heading that is animated after the web page is loaded. All right. So you see this temporarily under construction. So what are you going to do here? That you're going to take this startup message and you're going to have it fade out over 5 seconds. So this will come in, this will be on there, and then it'll fade out after 5 seconds. All right. Now, there is a fade out, but here you're having it fade out over 5,000 seconds and then slide down. And the way that this chaining works is it does this and then it does this. So as it's fading out, I don't know if it's totally faded out or just about faded out, and then it'll slide down. All right. And here it says with a callback function that gets the same result as the chaining. Okay. Callbacks are going to become unbelievably important, and we're going to learn both in this class and in the advanced class, we're going to learn about the 3 ways that you do callback functions, which are a straight callback, which can lead to a problem that's known as callback hell. Callbacks in many ways were replaced with promises. And a promise is something that basically can be accepted, rejected, or kind of in the process between those two. And that's even been upgraded a little bit to what's called async await. So we're going to talk about all that. Now, in this example, it says this is that fax application, frequently asked questions, as the text for the heading is displayed. All right, and you can maybe see how that's fading in. So this is the HTML, just a bunch of divs and the like, and this is the JavaScript and the jQuery. So again, when you click on any of your H2s, when you click on that one, all right, if it's not equal to a minus, you want to fade out over a second. Otherwise, you want it to slide down over a second. You could also toggle it to turn it on and off. And that is a kind of a key component when you are working with a lot of this stuff, is to be able to actually toggle. Okay? All right. Terms, as it says here, related to effects, the effect, the animation, and the callback. Now, with this particular example, this slideshow, notice that rather than having it go from slide to slide and just kind of go off the screen, you can set it up so a slide fades in, and then over time it fades out, and then another one fades in, for example. All right. So as you're working on this stuff, it's totally up to you as far as how you want to set it up. And you'll notice in here, as always, they say here's one way of setting it up, and then they will show you another way to set it up. Because as I've already told you, with virtually all of this stuff, there's always more than one way to do the same thing. All right. So like I said, the goal here is to just very quickly go over a couple of these things that are in here. Not to go over the code in much depth and breadth of coverage, because again, we're not going to be doing too much at all with jQuery in this class. Okay? When you chain things, again, the idea is you do this, etc. You can put as many things together as you want to or need to. And by default, meaning unless told otherwise, whatever's in the first chain will run, and when it's done, what's in the second chain will run, etc. All right. Now you'll notice in here, if you take a quick look, it says delay, stop, and finish. Delay the start of the next animation in the queue. So if you've got a bunch of stuff that you're doing, all right, by default, it'll do one thing and it'll go right into the next. But as mentioned, you can delay it. Again, it's your animation. You can do virtually whatever you want to do with it. Stop to stop the current animation. And finish, notice, stop the current animation, clear the queue, and complete all animations for the selected elements. So it's always up to you the way that you want to do this. All right. An animation that moves thumbnail images down on mouse hover. Okay, so you can see the one they're hovering over and how it is down. All right, easing is kind of neat because when you ease things, you can have them ease in, you can have them ease out. With a lot of this stuff, when you're working with easing, it's, what do you want? In other words, do you want the animation? Quite often, animation will start slow, then it will start going faster, then at the end it'll slow down again. You can, or if you don't want to do that, you can have it go at the same speed at all times. You can have it start fast and end slow, start slow and end fast, etc. And mix these any way you want to or need to do them. All right, here's some of the stuff that you can do with them. I'm not really going to even say very much more in here. They have their own carousel application in here where you click and it shows you the different books. All right, so that was not much. Probably only what? I was going to say probably not even 10 minutes. And it isn't. So I'm not giving you very much in here. And as we go on, I'll probably give you a little bit more in the next chapter because we talk about forms and form validation. And there's a few things that I actually have done with jQuery in here. I don't do a lot of work with animation. All right, and I have not in the past. Not because it's not kind of cool, and I've done some stuff with it, but by and large, you never want to let the message be overtaken by how you're showing the message. In other words, if you've got a website that's completely animated and people love the animation but don't know what the website's about, have you really helped yourself? All right, so I'll be back with Chapter 10 in just a couple minutes.